most of my work with diving and with camera in hand is for magazines and brands. But
Hello, welcome to the Big Scuba Show.
So here we are once again.
Hello, this is Gemma from the BiG Scuba YouTube channel, coming up with a film that supports our podcast, episodes 44 and 45. It's about Will Appleyard and his new book, Wild and Temperate Seas. So you'll see his contributors tell us a bit about themselves and a bit about the book. If they've not appeared, then I'll just read their bio. So sit back and enjoy.
Hello everybody, my name is Will Appleyard. I take photographs and write about adventurous things. So if you don't find me on the mountain, hiking or climbing, then you might find me paragliding over one, which is what I'm doing here right now in southern Spain, avoiding the UK winter as long as possible. Most of my work with diving and with camera in hand is for magazines and brands, but magazines both print and online. I've been doing that for a number of years. I'm the author of 3 books. The first book, Discover UK Diving, came out 10 years ago, so it's a bit old now and out of print. And then we have Dorset Dives, which ticks over and still works well as a dive guide. And I'm super excited to be announcing my third book, which is published on or around the 25th of November, published by Dived Up Publications, and that is called Wild and Temperate Seas. But this book's a little bit different because I'm the main author. However, this time round as a project, I enlisted the help of several extraordinary contributors, some of them award-winning photographers, and the others, if they're not award-winning, then they're probably on their way to doing so. So I'm super excited for this project to finally turn into something physical. And what I love about books is that, you know, magazines and online, any work produced for those kind of platforms it has a shelf life and one day it will disappear, but books, as we know, tend to stand the test of time. So I also think this particular book, although it started life as a guide, it's really more than that, and I think it's interesting for anyone who is interested in what's going on below the sea around the UK, and I think the photography throughout the book really showcases what we have to love and protect. So I hope you enjoy it, and off you go and buy one for Christmas.
Hi, my name's Kirsty Andrews and I'm one of the diving photographers that Will Appleyard asked to contribute to his new book. It's called Wild and Temperate Seas and it catalogues 50 great dives all around the UK. I was really pleased to be asked to be involved in this project because I love any opportunity to talk about how great British diving is. I'm not a professional scuba diver, but I do dive whenever I can, and I write a bit for the magazine of the British Sub-Aqua Club, and I also help to organise the Bristol Underwater Photography Group, which has a lot of really keen and active and talented UK divers and photographers in it. I'm based in Bristol, but I do dive all around the UK, and Will actually asked me to contribute some of the more northern sections of the book. So the Farne Islands in Northumberland in England, and also some wrecks in the Sound of Mull in Scotland, and some interesting outlying islands to the north of Scotland as well. So I'm really excited to see the book come out and hopefully get some new tips on other sites that I'd like to visit in the coming years.
Dan Bolt, snorkeling and rock pooling. As a youngster, Dan learned to dive at 13 and hasn't stopped since. He has an unending fascination with the marine ecosystem and everything it contains, something that still grows to this day. Dan is a regular contributor to Underwater Photography magazine and several UK scuba diver magazines. Among other awards, he has twice won the British Underwater Photography Championship and was British Underwater Photographer of the Year 2016. Dan's images regularly feature in the British Wildlife Photography Awards book and the associated travelling exhibition. Dan is a co-founder of and webmaster to Underwater Photographer of the Year, helping it grow into one of the most respected international underwater photographic competitions.
Thanks for watching this video. This is the Big Scuba. If you want to keep up to date with news, guests, product reviews and other scuba trips and kayaking adventures, don't risk missing out who's coming up next. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up to date. Thanks for watching.
Jason Brown, what came first, photography or diving? For professional photographer Jason, it's not an easy question to answer. Having learnt to dive back in the 1990s, it didn't take him long to realise that simply being underwater wasn't enough. He also wanted to capture what he saw and share it with a wider audience. From the moment he took his first film, camera diving, he was hooked. An accomplished closed-circuit rebreather, technical trimix and cave diver certified through Global Underwater Explorers, Jason takes great pride in capturing eye-catching images that have graced the pages and covers of numerous magazines and other publications around the globe. Whether exploring a shipwreck in cold green water or pushing deep into a cave, he prides himself on always getting in the shot. Whilst he enjoys the lure of warm, clear blue water as much as the next diver, Jason is most at home in the cold green seas that surround the UK.
Hi, I'm Jake Davis. I'm a marine biologist, an underwater videographer and a HSC media and scientific diver from the Llŷn Peninsula in North Wales. And it's an amazing place to dive and also really fortunate to still be able to live here. But as a marine biologist, I'm fortunate that I can spend a lot of time underwater, but then personally have a passion for sharing this underwater world with everyone else, where I do a lot of my work where I share it through social media under the JD Scuba account and using different types of technology to help get people involved with the underwater world and show them there's a lot more below the waves than people think they're on. It's not just out of sight, out of mind. And where recently I've been using not just videos, standard videos, but also using 360 videos to really give people that immersive feeling of what it's like once you're below the waters of the Welsh coast, because yeah, it's not as dark and gloomy as people think it is. But the Llŷn Peninsula is somewhere where I grew up, and I'm fortunate that I can still work and spend a lot of my time around here. Also where I learned to dive with the local BiG dive club, the Llŷn Aqua Club. And I learned to dive about 6 years ago, and from there I've done all my recreational diving around here, but also went to go and do my HSC commercial diving, which has been allowed me to be involved in some exciting scientific jobs, but also some exciting media jobs too. Being fortunate to be a part of a lot of different dive teams. And as part of the Wild and Temperate Seas book, I contributed some of my favourite dive sites here on the Llŷn Peninsula, and these were Criccieth, which is a great shore dive, especially at night, because in the day a lot of the species are kind of hidden under the sand, whereas at night these then sand species, which are like the dragonettes and things, come out and you can kind of see them a bit more. And another one is Gimlet Rock. Again, this is a very varied shallow site, but you never really know what's going to turn up on this site. Some days you can have some rays with you, and other days you might just have a few little bobtailed squid or a lot of pipefish. So there's a lot of variety and it's really nice. But again, as you'll see in the book, it's kind of got to be careful. There's a bit of a current there that kind of comes up pretty quick and you don't expect it to be. And then the other sites are Porth Yscadan, which is located on the North Llŷn coast, and this is a great shore dive, and as a club this is one we go to quite often because it's very shallow, it's very sheltered, it's almost like it's got its own natural protection from the north side as the wall runs out parallel with the coast. But this is a great one if you want to go diving amongst kelp, and there's a lot of fish species there, particularly wrasse species. And then finally, the other site is Porthenllaen, which is just further east up on the North Llŷn coast. It's very famous because there's a little pub on the beach which is called the Tir Coch. But Porthenllaen itself is a old fishing village where there are still active fishermen there. But below the waves, just in front of that pub, is a seagrass meadow, which is one of the largest and densest off the Welsh coast. And as a shore dive, it's very good, but it's a bit more challenging to get access. So actually it's better to do it as a boat dive. You also get a bit more depth because you can get down to about 7 meters. But after that, the seagrass kind of fades away a little bit because it needs that light to keep it growing. But this one is a personal favourite. It's amazing, and diving the seagrass is not like diving any other habitat off the Welsh coast. Well, personally, that's what I think it's like. It's very colourful with a contrasting blue above the green coloration of the seagrass meadow itself. But these are just 4 sites. There's many more sites off the Llŷn Peninsula that are amazing, but these most of the time are needed by boat, and also a bit more challenging, especially on the North Llŷn when there's a lot more tide and a lot more current running along the coast, and ends up being very, very fast drift dives. As well as contributing to the Wild and Temperate Seas book, which has been amazing, we've also been working on a dive series across the summer. Me and a couple of friends who are videographers, which are Ollie and Lloyd, we've partnered up to make Dandŵr Cymru, and we're making an online series called Wales Best of the West, or Cymru Gorau y Gorllewin, and this will be a bilingual online series where we're kind of showcasing some of the sites along the Welsh coast from here in the Llŷn Peninsula, where we then travel down south to Pembrokeshire, where we dive a couple of sites down there. We're looking forward to reveal more about the series early next year, but recently we've just launched a trailer, so if you want to go ahead and look at that, you can head over to JD Scuba social media accounts, or Dandŵr Cymru, which is the joint collaboration between 3 of us. And yeah, we'll be revealing more about the series early next year.
Hello, Gemma and Ian of the Big Scuba podcast. I am Alex Gibson of Dived Up Publications. We produce books for underwater explorers, including dive location guides, underwater photography, maritime history, biography, and more besides. We are publishers of Wild and Temperate Seas by Will Appleyard. My own diving adventure started around 15 years ago while backpacking, enjoying warm, clear tropical waters, only to return to the UK a bit melancholy. I took a bit of time to realise that there is diving here. People were chipping away at me, giving me little snippets of information, and eventually I went and looked up my local British Sub-Aqua Club branch in Oxford, joined up, and started diving all over the UK, from charter boats, from club boats, on liveaboards, and have really had a fantastic time visiting all 4 nations of the UK. I'm now an open water instructor as well, so completely converted. My contribution to the book is I worked out the initial concept for the book with Will. We discussed which locations might be included and which sadly might not be able to make it. There's so much to choose from, really. We had to draw the line somewhere. I had visited Northern Ireland, and I was very keen that all 4 nations of the UK would feature. So Rathlin Island was the natural fit for this book, with its incredible reef dives with sheer drop-offs from 10 metres down to 200, adorned with every colourful thing you can imagine: hydroids, anemones, sponges. There's archways underwater, there are gullies, there's a plateau, there are kelp forests, and if you're really lucky, the nesting seabirds, which can be found around the island, will dive bomb at the end of the dive, and you can enjoy your safety stop watching them swim past. Also featured in the book is the SS Lochgarry, a lovely little upright wreck in 30 metres of water, which sadly foundered in a storm, but which has left divers with plenty to play with. I also, as the publisher, was responsible for the design, layout, editing, producing the book essentially, so pretty much everything that goes on behind the scenes and everything to bring the book to market. and hopefully now it is there, we can get it out to people and they can start seeing what an amazing contribution has been put in by all of the contributors. So not just myself, I have a few photos dotted throughout the book. There are other people who aren't named on the cover who did the same, and as all these contributions came in, it really was a highly enjoyable experience seeing these beautiful photographs and lovely contributions as the book came together. Next up for me, around the same time, we were publishing a book called Diving the Thistlegorm, about many people's favourite wreck in the Red Sea. That one's by Simon Brown, John Henderson, Alex Mustard and Mike Postons, and that is looking fabulous too. That's about it from me. Thanks very much.
Stuart Philpott began diving in the late 1980s and quickly progressed to instructor level for BiG, SSI, PADI and TDI training agencies while working at several UK South Coast dive centres. Underwater photography became a passion several years later when he had the opportunity to work for a local diving magazine. Over the past 20 years, Stuart has seen more than 300 of his articles published, 70 front covers and 2 books on marine life, dive travel destinations and other underwater activities. His roots are still very much grounded in the UK and he is often seen, camera in hand, at his local dive sites taking pictures throughout the year.
Hi, I'm Elaine Whiteford and I'm delighted to be a contributor to a great new book on UK diving, Wild and Temperate Seas. The UK has some fantastic diving and I'm very lucky to live near some of the best sites that Scotland has to offer. I've been diving for 18 years and qualified as an instructor in 2005. I first took my camera underwater in 2004 and had my first pictures published the following year. Since then, I've had photo articles published in magazines such as Diver, the Undersea Journal and the Scots Magazine. I became a licentiate of the Royal Photographic Society with a portfolio of underwater images, and my photographs have appeared in a number of books. My contributions to Wild and Temperate Seas cover dive sites at St Abbs, Loch Long and Loch Fyne. These sites have some amazing marine life, which I'm excited about sharing with readers. If you already dive in the UK, I hope the book will encourage you to explore new sites. If you don't dive in the UK yet, what are you waiting for?
And we'll speak to you all soon.
Okay, big scuba, goodbye.
Bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe as well, which is about there.
And ring the bell.